I just appreciate the ending.
Yeah, totally.
Because it kind of just gave credit where it was due.
I agree.
So, Beth.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell me why you picked your beer?
Nope. Thanks for listening. Bye.
No, you told us that it was the best beer of all time.
It is
you
pretty
traveled
epic.
the whole world for 40 days and 40 nights to find this
walked
beer.
to New York for this beer. So, just as a reminder, I've got a Schmalz Brewing Company Slingshot. So I was reading the can, actually, and it's got a huge paragraph. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Holy cow.
But they basically describe how the slingshot, like, became a thing. Like, they say, like, Bart Simpson clowns through childhood with a slingshot. You know, like, he finds his way. They find, like, Homer, Caesar, and this other guy did stuff with slingshots. And then it's basically talking about underdogs. So I saw Underdog, and unlike Audrey, I was like, it says dog, I'm getting this beer. What it did, it happened to work out, because the underdog in this story is one that you can, this might be like a forced analogy, but Enzo might be considered an underdog in this story, because, like I said, he really wants to be a human. And
well, yeah, first of all, he's a dog.
Yeah, well, okay. But, like, the relation is, like, he wants to be a human, but he's a dog. Mm-hmm. So you could say that he's the underdog in life, because he's never going to be able to achieve being a human, because he's a dog. Also, you could see that Denny is the underdog in his life, because everything goes wrong for Denny.
Right. And
at the beginning, we're rooting for Denny. It's like, he's such an awesome person, and yet all of these things happen to him, and he has there's no reason for them to happen other than just, like, life shitting on him, you know? Mm-hmm. And so he's totally the underdog you're rooting for this whole time. You want him to just succeed in his life. He's done nothing but good, and you just want him to succeed, but he keeps struggling. So that's one part of it. It's called an underdog. The other part is called slingshot. I learned that this is actually a term in racing. And given that this is a book about race cars...
Dang it, you win!
Yes! I had to look it up on Wikipedia, and I kind of summarized it. Basically, everyone knows what drafting is when you're in racing. It could be like in swimming, I guess you can draft. You can do it on bikes. Horses might do it. Right. And race cars do it. So Denny is a huge race car fan. He actually does race cars as his job. And then he also does side jobs to help with other bills. But in racing, drafting is used to reduce the wind resistance. And there's this move called the slingshot pass, which they say is the most dramatic and widely used maneuver associated with drafting. Oh. Basically, a car, no shit, a tailing car uses the lead car's wake to pull up using, like, maximum momentum. And at the end of a straightaway, like, let's say he's going downhill, at the end of the straightaway and you go into a turn, you go as fast as you can and you slingshot your way into the front.
Oh.
So that's the technical term for it. Basically, the combination of running downhill and then going across the other car's wake allows for, extra speed, and you can pass inside of the leader.
Wow. So I just learned so much about racing.
Wikipedia. So that's cool and all. It's a racing term. But if you have read the book, I think that is a perfect metaphor for how Denny experiences life.
Yeah.
Because, like we were saying with your beer, he never gave up. He stayed true to himself. He was full of integrity. Mm-hmm. He never compromised his beliefs or morals.
Right.
And so he stayed there in second place. If you're drafting, you're just behind that car, waiting for his moment to pop out and win the race.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a spoiler. But, yeah, so I thought that beer related pretty nicely to all of the characters.
That's incredible.
Thanks.
You did a good job.
Thank you. Don't ever expect that again.
Okay. I won't.
But yeah, I really like this book. I did cry.
I'm just excited that it wasn't similar to Marley and Me,
Me too.
I was hesitant to read this
Me too.
because I'm not a sappy person.
Oh, I am.
And Marley and Me was very sappy, and it's exactly what you expected it to be when you went into it.
Yep.
It played into exactly what, like, you had it written in your head already when you went into it.
I was worried about that too, especially the cover is a dog.
Yeah, so when you're like, let's do this book, I was like, yay, another sappy dog book.
I was hesitant because I didn't know what they meant by Art of Racing in the Rain. Mm-hmm. And I don't like racing. I didn't know it was going to be about race cars. So, like, the first few chapters are like, oh, man, they're going to talk about race cars? I hate race cars. So, luckily, it wasn't all about race cars.
Right. And I will say that if you're not a big racing person, which I am not at all, I feel like most of the population isn't. But you kind of, I guess, gain a respect to that sport. And I also learned a bunch about, like, professional racing.
I tuned out during those parts because I'm just really not interested in racing.
The only reason I tuned in was because my stepdad is a huge NASCAR fan.
Oh, okay.
And I just want that connection.
Oh, that's nice of you. I have a lot of race car fans in my family, but I just can't do it.
I just need at least something to talk about. Now I can say, ooh, good slingshot.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice draft there.
Yeah. So, what was your rating on Goodreads?
5.
5?
Because, the end of the book is always when you start, you finish a book, you rate it. And the ending was amazing. And I actually did read this book very quickly because I really loved the narrator. He's so cute. And it just totally changed my idea of how my pets talk to me. Like, I just assume they're idiots and they can't form sentences. But now they're smart little humans inside those little bodies.
Yeah, and I definitely look at my dogs differently now.
Yeah, it's cute.
Where I'm like, oh. And I have to talk to them when I'm around them. I can't just be silent with them.
Yeah, they want to be a part of your life.
Yeah. And it's, if you guys don't have a dog, or if you're not a dog person, it's so sad to me.
As a cat person, I still love dogs. But let me tell you.
Okay.
I started reading this other book called Homer's Odyssey.
Yeah.
No. Yeah? Yeah, Homer's Odyssey. It's about a cat, actually.
Oh.
Who's blind.
Oh.
And I know, that's what she says everyone in the book says. And it's his odyssey of life, going through it blind. And I am a sucker. This is where we differ. I am a sucker for sappy. I love crying at books. I love feeling emotionally drained after something.
I love being sappy and being emotional, but I like it when it comes out of left field. I don't like it when it's...
You're not going to go in... So did you like The Notebook?
No, because it was obvious.
Yes.
Notebook, Marley, like, I went to Marley and Me with Megan and Emily, and at the end, when it's the sad part, this was what? Maybe
forever ago. Spoiler
8 years ago or something like that. And at the end, obviously he dies because he's a dog. Everybody in the whole theater is like weeping.
Don't they end the movie right then there too?
I think so.
So like you're exiting the theater with tears.
Yeah, I think there's only like 1 or 2 scenes after that. But but it's like you can audibly hear it and hear everybody just like wiping the snot off their nose. And it's just disgusting. And I am sitting there because it's like they built it up.
You guys should know this.
In a way where, it was like, yes, of course he's going to die.
Yeah.
And they built it up in that way where when that scene came up, I'm just laughing.
Oh my God. Audrey. You're such a terrible person.
So I'm literally just laughing because I'm looking around and everybody fell into it and was like,
I was one of those people. I know, you see it coming from a mile away, but
they're like choking on their snot. It's so bad. And so I just looked down the aisle with the 4 or 5 people that we went with, and they're all just like, and they look at me and just laughing at them because they fell into that.
I would be so mad if I saw you laughing at me while I'm crying.
To this day, they don't forgive me for that. It's one of those things where it's like...
You know those other, like, random strangers in the theater are probably like, remember that bitch that was laughing at us during Marley and Me?
Yeah. They probably think I'm like...
that fucking heartless girl that was just, like, laughing at the death of a dog. Remember her?
Yeah. Oh, man. Maybe I am heartless.
Probably.
I'm not heartless. If you bring it in on left field, that's one thing. I'll weep and I'll love it and I'll give you 5 stars. But if you're putting me on the path of crying, and I'm not going to cry.
I'm like, I see where I'm going. Take me there. I'm ready. My body is ready.
I embrace that.
So yeah, I'm reading that book. I was like, oh, maybe we should read this for the podcast, but I think we're good on animal books for a minute.
I think so too.
And also it's slowing down, and like I love cats obviously, but this book is kind of like losing my interest. So
I appreciate pet books, but
yeah.
And I appreciate pets.
Actually, I also read Lily and the Octopus. Mm-hmm. You might have saw that on Goodreads. I didn't like that one either. So I think every now and then you get stuck on a topic, and then you start reading all of the books about it. And that's when I start losing interest. Because I'm like, oh, I just read this in the last book. I'm not interested anymore.
Right.
So I think I'm burnt out on animal books for a minute. So I switched gears to a TED Talk book.
Oh.
And I'm not planning on giving a TED Talk. Nor am I planning on talking about that book in the podcast.
Wait, a TED Talk book?
Yeah, so it's like the secret ways of nailing your TED Talk. So it's like for people who are about to give one.
Oh.
But it's
actually a TED Talk for TED Talkers.
Yeah, it was a quick read. I mean, I listened to it on audiobooks. It was super quick. But it actually like gives you advice that's relevant to the podcast. So you might want to listen to it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a pretty good book. I'm glad I listened to it, but I'm not giving a TED Talk anytime soon.
No.
But I still recommend it. So I'm actually on Goodreads if you guys want to check us out. Our Beer by the Book page has got its own Goodreads page.
Really?
Yes. I don't update it very often. I should start.
What?
Yeah, I made us a Goodreads page.
Okay, this is news to me.
I always forget to log into it because I'm always on my Goodreads.
Oh, well then I'll keep it updated.
Okay, cool.
With that, we should probably talk about what we're reading upcoming.
Oh yeah.
That was a terrible sentence. But whatever.
Yes, Audrey. Oh, our next one is The Book Thief. We decided that one together.
Yes.
That's going to be coming out. Oh, I have our schedule on the wall over there.
It's coming out next Monday.
Yeah.
Next Monday. From Monday.
Yeah.
Or I guess
Monday.
If you're listening to this, I guess next Monday.
Yeah. So that one's decided. Then Audrey chose the next one, which is
The Glass Castle.
The Glass Castle is an Oprah book club, right?
Yeah, and the reason I haven't read it yet.
I just started today.
Yeah, the reason I chose it is because my Goodread club.
Your Goodreads crew?
The crew has recommended it.
Actually, yeah, as soon as I said I was reading it, it shows you all your friends who have read it, and all of it's like 5 stars.
5 stars, and I think the average is like 4.5.
It's a good one.
That's high.
Yes. And then the one after that, I chose.
Yes.
A friend recommended me this. She's on this self-help kick. It's called The Slight Edge, and it's got a really good reviews on Goodreads as well. And what I think it's about, I'm one of those people that don't like reading the covers or anything. I just like going for it, which is ironic in this podcast. But it's just like having a slight one up on your peer or something that would help improve your career and your life. So it's one of those motivational ones. So I love self-help motivational kinds.
I like them sporadically. I'll read like 3 or 4 a year.
Oh, well, I'm not going to follow that. Every time I pick one, it's either going to be like a really long, sappy one or a motivational one.
Yeah, but how often do you do them?
I'd say like once a month.
Really?
I really like them. Yeah. I need that like reminder that I'm awesome.
Yeah. You are a badass.
Yeah. I was actually going to suggest that we do the subtle art of not giving a fuck finally, but I think it was too soon. That and You Are a Badass are really similar.
Yeah.
So I think it's too soon.
I agree.
Still. And so I haven't read The Slight Edge. It's a quick book as well. So I think we'll like it.
I'm excited.
And then to that, I would love to get a recommendation from our listeners.
Yeah.
I mean, we've announced our books. We've posted it on Insta and Facebook and everything and our website. But I would really love someone to be like, please do this book.
Right.
And I would love to read it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be so cool to read a listener recommendation.
Another thing, some of the feedback I've been getting is we've been doing older books, but they're books that I want to do a book that people have read and that we can have the conversation.
That's the difficult part about the podcast.